The Los Angeles Lakers find themselves caught in the most delicate of basketball balancing acts, where one wrong move could either catapult them to title contention or send their carefully constructed roster crashing down like a house of cards. Walker Kessler represents the tantalizing solution to their most glaring weakness, but Utah's astronomical demands have created a standoff that's testing every ounce of Rob Pelinka's negotiation wizardry. This isn't just another trade rumor swirling around the league. This is a chess match between two organizations with completely different timelines, completely different priorities, and completely different definitions of what constitutes fair value. The Jazz want to fleece the Lakers for their prized young center, while Los Angeles refuses to mortgage their future for a player who might not even move the championship needle significantly. The initial conversations between these teams showed promise, with both sides exploring possibilities that could create mutual benefits. But when Utah revealed their true asking price, Austin Reaves plus 2 first-round picks for Kessler, the negotiations hit a wall so hard it left skid marks on the trade market. That's not a trade proposal. That's highway robbery dressed up in business suits and presented with straight faces. Utah's asking price reveals everything you need to know about how they view Walker Kessler's value versus how the rest of the basketball world sees it. Demanding Austin Reaves, widely considered the Lakers' third-best player and a legitimate rotation cornerstone, plus 2 precious first-round picks for a defensively gifted but offensively limited center represents the kind of overvaluation that kills deals before they start. Reaves isn't just another role player the Lakers can easily replace. He's a legitimate two-way contributor who provides scoring, playmaking, and defensive versatility that fits perfectly alongside their superstar core. Trading him would create a massive hole in their rotation while simultaneously solving their center depth issues, essentially robbing Peter to pay Paul in the most expensive way possible. The Jazz's position becomes more understandable when you consider their broader organizational strategy. They're rebuilding around young talent, accumulating assets, and positioning themselves for long-term success rather than short-term competitiveness. From their perspective, Kessler represents a foundational piece worth premium compensation, especially given his age and defensive upside. However, there's a significant gap between valuing your own players highly and pricing them completely out of realistic market range. Utah's demands suggest they either don't truly want to trade Kessler or they're hoping the Lakers become desperate enough to overpay dramatically for a player who, while talented, isn't a franchise-altering superstar. The Lakers need to approach this situation with the kind of strategic creativity that separates championship organizations from perpetual also-rans. Instead of meeting Utah's unreasonable demands, they should present a counterproposal that addresses both teams' actual needs while maintaining some semblance of fair value exchange. A package centered around Rui Hachimura, Dalton Knecht, a 2031 first-round pick, and a 2032 second-round pick represents a more balanced approach that could actually get both organizations what they need. This proposal recognizes Kessler's value while refusing to gut the Lakers' current rotation for a player who, despite his talents, remains somewhat limited in his overall impact. Hachimura brings exactly what a rebuilding Jazz team should want: proven production from a player still young enough to fit their timeline. At 27, he's entering his prime years with a skill set that translates perfectly to Utah's system. His versatility on offense, particularly his mid-range game and improving three-point shooting, would give the Jazz a legitimate scoring threat who can create his own opportunities. Last season's numbers tell the story of Hachimura's value: 13.1 points and 5.0 rebounds on exceptional shooting splits of 50.9% from the field and 41.3% from three-point range. These figures become even more impressive when you consider he was operating as the Lakers' fourth offensive option, suggesting his production could increase significantly with expanded opportunities in Utah's system. Dalton Knecht represents the kind of developmental upside that rebuilding teams dream about acquiring. His rookie season showed flashes of the scoring ability that made him an attractive draft prospect, and a change of scenery to Utah could provide the consistent playing time necessary for his continued development. The departure of Jordan Clarkson from Utah's roster creates a specific need for bench scoring that Connect could potentially fill. While he's not ready to replace Clarkson's production immediately, his skill set suggests he could develop into that role with proper development and opportunity. His 46.1% field goal shooting and 37.6% three-point accuracy as a rookie demonstrate the foundation for future offensive effectiveness. The inclusion of the 2031 first-round pick adds long-term value that rebuilding teams covet, while the 2032 second-round pick provides additional asset accumulation without forcing the Lakers to surrender multiple first-round selections. This combination of present talent and future assets creates a more balanced package that reflects actual market value rather than wishful thinking. Walker Kessler's addition would address the Lakers' most pressing roster construction issue, interior defense and rebounding depth. While Deandre Ayton provides solid starting center production, the drop-off to their backup options creates vulnerabilities that opposing teams consistently exploit. Kessler's defensive impact extends far beyond traditional statistics. His rim protection fundamentals, shot-blocking instincts, and defensive positioning make him the kind of anchor that allows perimeter defenders to play more aggressively. His 2.4 blocks per game last season only scratches the surface of his defensive influence, as his mere presence alters offensive game plans and shot selection. At 24 years old, Kessler represents both immediate impact and long-term potential. His physical tools suggest continued improvement, while his basketball IQ and work ethic indicate he'll maximize whatever abilities he possesses. For a Lakers team operating in championship or bust mode, acquiring a player who can contribute immediately while maintaining future value represents ideal roster construction. The offensive limitations that Utah might use to justify a lower asking price actually work in the Lakers' favor. They don't need Kessler to create offense or handle significant scoring responsibilities. They need him to protect the rim, rebound effectively, and finish the occasional lob opportunity. His 66.3% field goal shooting demonstrates efficiency in his limited offensive role, suggesting he won't hurt their spacing or flow. The most intriguing aspect of this potential trade involves timing considerations that could influence both teams' decision-making processes. Kessler's restricted free agency status in 2026 creates urgency for Utah to either extend him or maximize his trade value while they maintain control. The Lakers face their own timing pressures as their championship window with their current core remains limited. However, rushing into an overpay scenario could compromise their ability to make additional moves or maintain roster flexibility for unexpected opportunities that arise throughout the season. Waiting until next summer to pursue Kessler as a free agent presents both opportunities and risks for Los Angeles. They'll have significant cap space to make competitive offers, but Utah's ability to match any deal as his current team could complicate the acquisition process. Sometimes the guaranteed acquisition through trade outweighs the potential savings of free agency pursuit. Ultimately, this trade discussion boils down to championship probability calculations that both organizations must evaluate honestly. The Lakers need to assess whether Kessler's addition significantly improves their title odds enough to justify the asset expenditure and roster adjustments required. For a team with legitimate championship aspirations, the margin between success and failure often comes down to depth pieces and role players who perform when stars face inevitable struggles. Kessler represents exactly the kind of complementary talent that championship teams require: low-maintenance, high-impact players who excel within defined roles. The Lakers have built something special with their current roster construction, but championship teams constantly evaluate opportunities to improve without compromising their core foundation. This trade scenario represents the kind of calculated risk that separates title winners from teams that perpetually fall just short of their ultimate goals. The negotiation between Los Angeles and Utah will ultimately reveal which organization better understands current market values and championship requirements. Sometimes the best deals are the ones you don't make, but sometimes championship opportunities slip away because teams refuse to pay fair prices for necessary upgrades. What's your take on this Lakers dilemma? Should they meet Utah's demands and go all in on Kessler, or is the proposed counteroffer the smarter play for their championship timeline? Drop your thoughts below and smash that like button if you're as fascinated by these high-stakes roster decisions as we are, because moves like this could define championship legacies.